What's up, Eagles Nation? What's going on, NFL world? How you doing, Division Rivals? This is Stephen Hyder, Gate City Sports Channel, the sports channel where the cerebral NFL fan comes for about 10 minutes of daily content. All right, guys, today's topic, I brought you in here to start talking about the depth chart on the defensive line. Look, none of these are permanent, guys. I'm going to ask you for your opinions down below when we get to the end of the video, guys. Don't worry, I'm not going to hold you to these opinions. There's no way, with a brand new coaching staff, with all kinds of unknowns, with player fits we don't know, that these things are going to be that accurate from the jump. But I just wanted to kind of start the conversation, guys, and get us rolling here. So to begin with, guys, I want to start off with talking about our defensive line, right? Because I think a lot of us recognized it was a big need. I said it alone, kind of when we were talking about Kwity Paye and some of the other prospects that, like, don't discount them going defensive line higher than people think just because, when you look at the contract situation of Brandon Graham, you look at the age of a guy like Fletcher Cox, you got Derek Barnett playing on his fifth-year option. You got Josh Sweat on the last year of his contract. Like, look, I mean, the Eagles didn't play around with the defensive line, right? I mean, they went Milton Williams, Teron Jackson, and Patrick Johnson in this draft. So, I mean, they clearly comprehended that they needed to add bodies to the defensive line. Now, what I will say is this, guys. The defensive line is really hard to judge because I have a feeling personally that we're going to be very multiple, okay? This is coming in from Tracy Rocker being the defensive line coach. And when I say multiple guys, I mean that you could see something, you heard the guys today on Inside the Birds talking about us potentially playing a bear front. Think of the old school, like the old school bear front used to be 54 defenses. But, we're talking more of these nickel-based package stuff, so you're talking about a 52 defense nowadays. I wouldn't be shocked to see a little bit of bear front, but I just think we're going to be multiple in general. I think look for the eagle front, look for the bear front. You'll still see diamond, I guarantee you. A lot of twist, a lot of stunts, a lot of movement out of your guys. And by the way, don't discount us playing a little bit of odd fronts beyond just a bear front. Some three fronts, right? Some of you guys might be saying, like, hey, is that really that different? Because didn't we do some Joker stuff? I think we did, but I think we're talking about more traditional, like a handful of snaps in a game where you could see a real Joker rush end who can also have real linebacker, linebacker, possibilities, like a Jannard Avery, those type of guys, I would even put in some of the guys that we just drafted, like a Jacoby Stevens could be kind of that kind of role as a safety linebacker hybrid playing a rover role that he can really come up and play that. I wouldn't discount a guy like Patrick Johnson. This is an edge rusher / kind of linebacker. A lot of people looked at him as a 34 fit. Like, I definitely think you could see multiple fronts here.
Second down from the 25. AB. Pressure. He gets it. The ball is free.
It is really difficult to project, right? Let me just go over some of the alignments. When you hear something like a 5, just think 5 is going to be kind of like over just outside the tackle, okay? 7's going to be like if you were heads up on a tight end, and 9's going to be outside of a tight end, okay? Those are your traditional outside defensive front, but you also have two-gap schemes. And when you play a two-gap scheme, your 5-tech or your defensive end is not really a 5-tech, it's really a 4-tech. And that's just basically when you have dual gap responsibilities. So think like, they might have the C and the B, or they might have the C and the D. Like, they have particular gap assignments here, guys, when they do that. So the guys I have, in my opinion, who are probably going to start this way, I think Brandon Graham is obviously he's going to be playing on the outside. Derek Barnett and Josh Sweat, we know those three. The surprise I'm going to have here, guys, is going to be Milton Williams. I just think Milton Williams, unless you reconfigure his body, he's not going to make it as a nose or a 3 technique on a down-to-down basis in the NFL right now. He's got to reconfigure his body for that to be possible, guys. I hear you guys saying he benched 500 pounds. The dudes line up across him are pretty strong too, guys, and they got like 50 to 60 pounds on them. Like, you got to be realistic with what the guy can do. And Milton Williams has experience playing as a 5-tech before.
They're calling cards. They're tough in the red zone. And Abraham is going to the end.
Another man-to-man situation.
Abraham able to escape.
I think that he's destined to probably start the season off as a guy who will give you an interior pass rush on occasion. Think like a Vinny Curry and a Brandon Graham type. But he's going to traditionally probably be more so thought of as an outside defensive end. And then, if he reconfigures his body or if the Eagles are just really committed to that, then maybe they play him as a 3 technique. But for me personally, I'm going to start him as more of a 5 technique. And I really think Milton Williams will make a really intriguing 4 tech if you're going to run kind of a 2-gap responsibility type thing. I definitely think he can do that. Past that, guys, Teron Jackson. I like Jackson a lot, guys. Like I said in Philly 500's live stream, Milton Williams and Teron Jackson are very interesting just because I think that Milton Williams has a really good initial pass rush, but like his second move is not there. Like if he gets stonewalled, he's stonewalled. But when you look at Patrick Johnson, I don't think that I'm sorry, when you look at Teron Jackson, I don't think the initial pass rush is that great, but I think that he's really good at the secondary pass rush, especially that spin move. The amount of guys he beat with that spin move on his film was phenomenal.
Jackson's a 6'2", 265, 270-pound defense. Man, but you just see his speed. Watch, he's going to spin right here.
So I definitely see a guy like that. Then you got Patrick Johnson, very athletic guy, 6'6", 250. Some people consider him to be kind of a guy that could stand up as a joker. Look, he had a lot of production as a pass rusher. He doesn't have a lot of fine-tuned pass rushing moves. He's going to have to be developed, and that's a Tracy Rocker thing. Like, we'll see how Rocker does with these three young guys. And then we got the guy that's been floating around the roster for a long time, messing around with almost making it, and Joe Osman, guys. All right, I divided these up by 3 techs, or a 2 tech in a gap scheme, guys, and then nose tackle. So I divided this up. Some of these guys I'm going to say nose tackle could absolutely be 3 techniques, and some of them have played way more 3 tech in the past, and they played nose, but I'm just judging from the scheme. So 3 techs: Fletcher Cox, Javon Hargrave, Hassan Ridgeway. Those guys are all 3 techs. I think all 3 of those guys could play the nose if you needed them to, but I think all 3 of those guys in particular are good at the one gap, get up the field, and break down the pocket. I think that ideally you don't want them playing the nose unless you're really trying to, you're trying to stuff out or sniff out a running play. Basically like a 3rd and short, that kind of situation, guys.
First and goal from the 5, it's Cook.
Now, my nose tackles. Look, Marlon Tui. I'm just going to call him Tui. Tui Peloto, I think is his name. But I don't know what's going on with his back, but I can tell you about his film. I don't judge injuries, guys. I'm not a doctor. I have no clue how to do that. But I will tell you about Marlon's film. And what I can tell you is the kid's a really good hand fighter. He's really good at knocking down defenders' hands. And I definitely think he's a true nose tackle in the league. I think he can play 3 technique without much problem, guys. But I definitely think Marlon could be your true nose tackle, right? Beyond him, the other guy, I got to give my shout out to my NC State guys here, T.Y. McGill. T.Y. McGill is a little bit of an undersized guy. He's like 2E size, like about 300 pounds or so. But he's definitely a guy that I think he can play the nose for you. And then you got Raequan Williams, right? Raequan Williams was a very athletic guy coming out of college. He played some defensive end, and he played some 3 tech, and then he got involved in a little bit of the nose. I do think that Raequan, T.Y. McGill, and Marlon Tui Peloto, I think those 3 in particular are the guys that if you're really looking to project the nose, those are the 3 guys I keep in competition. Now, obviously, you guys know we're probably not going to keep 6 interior defensive linemen, so you kind of have to work out the numbers. My guess would be you spend a pick on Marlon, so I think he's going to have an upper hand here. I think that Hassan Ridgeway, if he's healthy, he's going to be your 3rd best defensive tackle, period. But I wouldn't sleep on guys like T.Y. McGill and Raequan Williams developing. I really like Raequan Williams a lot.
Familiar calls. 2nd and 10.
All right, ladies and gents, we're at the point of the video where I'm going to ask you, what do you think? Tell me your thoughts about this defensive line, guys. I gave you some ideas for some creative things they might do to be multiple at the front, right? I mean, I wouldn't rule out the old Jim Johnson diamond type front stuff. So I wouldn't rule out that, that Los Angeles Rams Eagle front we saw run last year with Stanley, who's now going to be at, San Diego or somewhere now, guys. And then I wouldn't rule out just some basic 34 fronts where you use the athleticism of guys like, Patrick Johnson. And, you can also consider a guy, I know that Jannard Avery's being kind of viewed as a linebacker, but he kind of fits that role as well, guys. Like, I wouldn't rule those things being, counted out. We clearly knew that we needed depth. I don't know that we have a marquee player from these 3 guys, but we went out and got quality depth with Milton Williams, Teron Jackson, and Patrick Johnson. Like, we got guys that could potentially play important roles for the future. Let me know your thoughts, guys. What do you guys think? Leave your thoughts down below. You already know I'm going to say. If you want to support the channel, you can buy me a cup of coffee. Links in the description below. Don't forget to like and comment on the video, guys. That's what spikes the algorithm and gets us in front of other people to consume and watch. Last but not least, if you're not subscribed, I would love to add you to the community. But in order to do that, guys, you got to hit the subscription button. All right, y'all. I appreciate you all so much for tuning in. I will see you on the next video. We'll talk some linebackers next, guys. All right, y'all. Peace. I'm out of here.